Hello, children. I am Madhumita ma'am, and today we will be going on a wonderful and adventurous voyage of maths. Now, you must be thinking, why not journey? Why a voyage? Because today we are going to learn about someone who lives in water. Now, children, from the beginning, when you were in nursery, you must have heard this poem. मछली जल की रानी है जीवन उसका पानी है. So the fish is the queen of the water. Whenever we think of any water, whether it is a river, whether it is a sea, whether it is an ocean, we always think of fish only. First thing that comes to in our mind is fish. The way we are having our poem, even Japanese have their own three-line poem called haiku, which is in your book. That is deep under the sea. See the lovely colored fish swimming peacefully. These are called haiku, and this describes the nature around us in Japanese. Okay, so children, what happened once one of my student asked me, ma'am, can you draw a fish? I'm very bad at drawing. I said, of course, it's a very easy matter. Just see how nicely I will draw one. So what I did, you can see on the board that what I have done. Does it look like a fish? Yes, little bit of it looks like a fish. Now, fish is something, it is a marine animal. Now, there are so many things which are there in fish which we need to learn, which we can learn from the fish, which we need to learn, and which is there in your chapter. So, let's go for this journey. Now, whenever we have seen any design on the like sari, there are fish designs on your dress, there are fish paintings. One of the major thing which you can see that everybody draws fish in one particular way. So these are some of the designs which you find. The first one, it is a Madhubani art. It is the art of Bihar. And fish is one of the primary motif, primary design in there. When they draw something on the sari or whether they are doing any other wall painting, fish is one of the major motif. Now, when we are talking about fish, let's talk about the smallest and the biggest fish. Now, children, in water is a very vast body. Ocean, sea, they are very vast. And different type of fish lives there. Now, when we are talking about this fish, the smallest, Pedocypris. The smallest fish is called, its name is Pedocypris. Its length is less than 1 centimeter, just near to 9 millimeter. Can you imagine? That is why in the picture you can see how small it is. It is so small that it can just fit into the tip of your finger. And the largest or the biggest fish is whale shark. And see, its length can go up to 18 meters and it weighs almost 16,000 kilogram. Now, the smallest fish, like the length is only 9 millimeter and it weighs less than 1 gram. So, don't you think this nature is fantastic? How many variety of things we have, and that smallest fish is so small and the largest or the biggest fish is so big that you can see that it is almost 18 meter, and 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeter, and 1 centimeter, the smallest fish is less than 1 centimeter. So imagine how big it is. So when we see the fish looks very different from each other. The way humans look different from each other. Do you look like your friend? No. Does your friend look like you? No. So every human looks different. Similarly, many fish looks different. And their tail also looks different. It is not the TALE tail. It is the TAIL tail. What do you call this in English? Remember, they are called homonyms. Now, when we are talking about these tails, now this, you can see that fish tail has got, specifically they have got two different type of fish tails. Now, when we were speaking about whale shark is actually, it's not a fish, it's a mammal. What do you know about mammals? mammals are the ones who give birth to their children, and fish lay eggs. So, what a difference it is, do you understand? Though they live in water, the whale shark lives in water, but it is not a fish, it is a mammal. So, its tail is pretty different, quite different from the one which we are seeing normally. The ones, maybe the rohu fish or maybe the kingfish, their tail is different from the whale shark or the dolphin. Why? Dolphin is also a mammal. Now the fish tail which the kingfish or the shark or the rohu fish has is vertical, and it moves from side to side. It moves from side to side. Vertical means it moves from side to side. Whereas the whale or the dolphin tail is horizontal, and it moves up and down, up and down, up and down. You can see yourself in whenever you watch fish moving, or you see in the TV or you see in the movies, you can see from their movement only. The fish moves like this, their tail, whereas the whale or the dolphin, their tail moves like up and down, up and down. Why? Because dolphins are mammals or whales are mammals and others are fish. That is the basic difference. Now let's go to the next slide. Are a school of fish? So the fish go to school? No. They are called what? When the group of fish come together, they are called school of fish. You must have heard it in your English, isn't it? When you have learnt about the nouns, you must have learnt about school of fish. Why they are called school of fish? Because they come together to make one group. You can see why they come in the group. Because they are so small, if they move individually, they will be eaten by the larger fish. So when they come together and make a bigger shape, the larger fish are scared of them. Sometimes what do? They puff of water or air to make themselves big. And sometimes they come together and they always move together to show that they are bigger in size and nobody can eat them. So isn't it interesting? Now, Jinsi used these shapes to make drawing. Jinsi is not bad as me in drawing. So she used these shapes to make drawings of fish. Now you can also use some shapes to draw the different sea animals shown below. In your book, you have got different pictures. You can use those pictures, these shapes to make those pictures. I have taken some example where circle is used, hexagon is used, pentagon is used, then rectangle is used, semicircle is used. You can see you can make lot of different shapes using these shapes. You have heard another thing about called tangram, where only shapes are used to make lot of different things, not only fish. The tangram shapes are used to make humans, house, dogs, whatnot. So just find out what tangrams are. Now you can see on the screen there are different shapes which are used to make so many different types of fish. I can also make one over here. We can take one triangle, then one circle. Maybe we can take another square to make a fish. Can we make one? Of course we can make one. We have to just put like this, one square here. This is one square here and one square here and one triangle here. This is one of the fish which I can make with this shape. You can make your own, isn't it? So it is very interesting. Now let's talk about the sea, because when we started I said we will go on a voyage. So for going on a voyage we need ocean or sea. Now in the sea or ocean you must have seen the waves, big waves. I am very scared of waves. Are you? But you should not be scared of waves, but we should be careful of the waves. Now on the very normal day when it is sunny and the weather is good, the normal waves are mostly under 10 feet on any normal days. But when there is tsunami, have you ever heard of this word, tsunami? Tsunami is something when there is earthquake under the sea. So that time what happens? Big waves, they come and they create lot of destruction near the shore. So where that can rise up to 35 feet. Now you must have heard there was a big tsunami in 2004 in India. Many states like Andaman Nicobar, Tamil Nadu, then Pondicherry, they were deeply affected and very badly affected by that tsunami. Many people died in that because long waves came and there was so much of destruction near the shore and many buildings were collapsed and many people have died because of that. So that time the waves were almost 35 feet or more than 35 feet and they created lot of destruction near the shore. So the sea can be calm, the sea can be also very angry at times. So what happens to then the people who go for fishing? So are they scared or they have to go? Let's find out. Now you can see that these are some of the log boats used by our fishermen. Our fishermen, they take these boats to go inside the water and catch fish. So these log boats, they do not travel very fast because they are people have to actually row it. So it depends on the person's strength. So it cannot go very fast. And it cannot go very far also. If it cannot go fast and it cannot go very far. And even the wind plays a very important role in this. Because when it is windy, if it is the wind is coming from the front, then they cannot go ahead. And if the wind is like pushing them from the back, they can go ahead without making much effort. So generally these log boats, they travel about 4 kilometers in 1 hour. So imagine, even if we walk, is it 4 kilometers? Sometimes when we walk faster, we can walk up to 5-6 kilometers in 1 hour. But here the log boats are slow and they can go maximum up to 4 kilometers in 1 hour. So the question is, how long will they take to go for a distance of 10 kilometers? So let's find out. So the distance they have to cover is 10 kilometers. So distance need to be covered. Distance to be covered is equals to 10 kilometers. And the speed of the log boat is 4 kilometers. Why it is called log boat? Why don't you, it is called any other boat? Because it is made up of wooden logs. That is why the name is log boat. And speed of the log boat is 4 kilometers per hour. So in 2 hours, how much distance the log boat can cover? So in 2 hours, it will cover 4 kilometers into 2. 4 kilometers into 2 is equals to 8 kilometers. So we need to go 10 kilometers. So if the log boat is going 4 kilometers in 1 hour, so how much distance it will cover in half an hour? That means it will cover 2 kilometers in half an hour. Half an hour, that is 30 minutes. So now 8 kilometers is covered in 2 hours and another 2 kilometers is covered in half an hour. So total time taken to cover this 10 kilometers is equals to 2 hours and half an hour. That is plus half an hour. That is equals to 2.5 hours. Or we can say 2.5 hours. Both are correct. 2.5 hours. So now you understood it will take 2.5 hours just to cover 10 kilometers. The log boat is that slow. How far you can go in 1 hour if you walk fast? Actually, it depends on our speed. my speed can be less than you. So if I can cover 5 kilometer, maybe if you walk faster than me, you can cover 6 kilometers. So it depends on the person to person. Generally, it is not fixed. It is a variable thing. That means when the person who can walk very fast, they can go a longer distance than the person who do not walk very fast. Now, these are the log boats which are used by the normal fisherman. But there are some other boats which are also used to catch fish. Let's see. Some boats have motors and go further into the sea. Since they go far out, they can catch more fish. These boats travel faster at the speed of about 20 kilometers in 1 hour. Imagine that was traveling 4 kilometers in 1 hour, and boats with motor can travel up to 20 kilometers in 1 hour. So that means they can go deeper into the sea, and that is why they can catch more fish. So let's see. The question is, how far would the motorboat go in 3.5 hours? Now let's see how far the motorboat will go in 3.5 hours. Now the motorboat generally the speed is 20 kilometers per hour. So the first question, how much distance it will cover in 3.5 hours. So motorboat, the speed of the motorboat speed is 20 kilometer per hour. So 3.5 hours. So let's find out how much distance it will cover in 3 hours. Then how much distance it will cover in half an hour. So if it goes in 20 kilometer in 1 hour, then it can go 10 kilometers in half an hour. Isn't it? Exactly half an hour. Exactly the half of the distance covered by 1 hour. So now children, just think how much the distance will be covered in 3 hours. You know, you can add it also, and you can do multiplication also. So let's find out what is the distance covered in 3 hours. 20 kilometers plus 20 kilometers plus 20 kilometers is equals to 60 kilometers. Now another half an hour we have to add, because we have to find out the distance covered by 3.5 hours. So half an hour we have already covered in 10 kilometers. So the total distance covered in 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours is equals to 60 kilometers plus 10 kilometers. 60 kilometers plus 10 kilometers, which is equals to 70 kilometers. That is a very longer distance than the distance covered by the log boat. So understood what is the difference? When there is motor, the boat travels faster, so it can cover more distance. When there is no motor, only humans are making it walk or making it row, then it is slower. The next question is, how much time it will take to cover 85 kilometers? So we have to first find out 80 kilometers plus 5 kilometers. Isn't it? 85 is 80 plus 5. So how much time it will take to cover 80 kilometers? Let's see now. This is the first question. This is the second question. So the question is, how much time will it take to go 85 kilometers? Now we can write down 85 kilometers is equals to 80 kilometers plus 5 kilometers. Why I am writing like this, 80 kilometers, for easier calculation? Because we know that 80 is divisible by 20. So let's find out the whole number first. Then we find out the fraction of the number which is left behind. So 80 kilometers plus 5 kilometers. So let's see, 80 kilometers will be covered in how many hours? Will be covered in how many hours? 80 divided by 20 is equals to 4 hours. Because the speed is 20 kilometers per hour. So 80 kilometers will be covered in 80 divided by 20 is equals to 4 hours. Now another 5 kilometers is left. From here you can see 10 kilometers in half an hour. तो उसको और half. So let's make it another half from that. So find out it will be 5 kilometer in 1/4 of an hour. 1/4 of an hour is 1 by 4 of 60 minutes, which is equals to 60 divided by 4, 15 minutes. Because we can do it orally also. We don't have to go for this calculation. We can do 20 kilometers per hour. So 5 kilometers, how much time is needed to cover? So 20 kilometers in 1 hour. So 5 kilometers will be covered by only 15 minutes. So 80 kilometers is covered by 4 hours. Another 5 kilometer will be covered in 15 minutes. So what is the total time taken for covering 85 kilometers? So to cover 85 kilometer, the time taken is, we will just add, the time taken is equals to 4 hours 15 minutes. So the total time taken is 4 hours and 15 minutes. Quite fast than the logboat. Now this is the motorboat which we are talking about. But there is another type of boat which is actually not very good for the environment. Let's learn about that also. These are the big trawlers. They are called big machine boats or trawler. They are very big in size. They can stay inside the sea for a longer time and they catch lot of fish at one point of time. Now children, it is creating problem for the poor fisherman who can only use logboat, because the fisherman who uses logboat, they can only catch a small amount of fish at a time, and they are very considerate also because they think the sea as their like God. They worship the sea as the God. So what they do not catch the small baby fish. They leave them behind. They only use those nets which are only used for catching big fish, not the small ones. But these trawlers, when they go to catch fish, they use all kind of nets to catch the maximum amount of fish. So what happens, even this fisherman is thinking that if these trawlers will be in place for a longer time, there will be no fish in the water only, because anytime they go, they catch 100 kgs of fish together. And what happens to the people who are staying, who cannot go inside the sea or the river to catch? They are not getting anything. So they use diesel to go for the motors, and they have got big motors for them to propel. So when they use these diesel boats, they also make lot of fume, lot of smoke in the water, which is not good for our aqua life or the marine life. So we have to think now that the way Gandhiji had said, there is enough for everyone's need, not for everyone's greed. So when we use this kind of motorboats, actually it is our greed to catch more and more and more. We can only catch how much we need, not for the purpose of selling or purpose of doing business. Now let's see this. Which boat gets how much? So let's see this. Now this is a table in which the speed of the boats are shown and the catch of each boat is shown. When the log boat goes, it can catch only 20 kgs of fish at a time. When the long tail boat goes, it can catch 600 kgs of fish at a time, and it goes 12 km per hour. The motor boat can catch 800 kgs of fish at a time. It goes 20 km per hour, whereas the machine boat or the long trawlers, they catch 6,000 kgs of fish at a time, and they go 22 km per hour. Now imagine the difference, 20 kg and 6,000 kg. What is the difference in the number? So in one trip, so let's see the question, look at the table and let's calculate about how much fish in all will each type of boat bring in 7 trips. So let's see how much of fish they can bring in one trip, and we can multiply in 7 to get that how much money, how much fish they can bring in 7 trips. So let's see. Now children, this is something for you to think, that when we are talking about this kind of boats and fish, how much you are thinking about the environment when it is used. Because whenever humans use something which is mechanical, then there is also the effect on the environment. So let's see about how much fish in all will each type of boat bring in 7 trips. So okay, so we have to find out each type. So the log boat can catch 20 kg fish at a time, in one time. 20 kg fish in one time or in one time. So how much fish will catch in 7 trips? So in one trip, one time, it can catch 20 kg. So in 7 trips, it will catch 20 kg into 7 is equals to 140 kg. 140 kg. Similarly, the long tail boat, it can catch 600 kg at one point of time. So in 7 trips, the long boat can catch 600 kg into 7. That is huge number, 4,200 kg of fish. Similarly, the motorboat. Let's see the motorboat. In 7 trips, the motorboat can catch 800 kg into 7. 800 kg into 7 is equals to 5,600 kg. See the difference in numbers. 140 kg for the log boat, whereas this is coming in 1,000. So poor fisherman, what will they do? They cannot compete with these mechanical boats only. In 7 trips, the trawler or the mechanical boat, machine boat can carry how much? In one trip, it carries 6,000 kg. So 6,000 kg into 7 is equals to 42,000 kg of fish. So that's a huge number. Now the next question is about how far can a motorboat go in 6 hours. Now let's see the table. It's very easy. We can do it orally. So the motorboat can travel 20 km in 1 hour. Okay. So how much distance it will cover in 6 hours? Of course, 20 km into 6, which is equals to 120 km. Now let's go to the next question. If a long tail boat has to travel 60 km, how long it will take? Now children, see the difference in two questions. The first one was asking how much distance will be covered. So that is why we were multiplying, because the distance covered will be always more. So here comes your application of multiplication and division. Now in the next question, the question is how much time it will take, how long it will take. For that, first we have to see the speed of the long tail boat. That means how much it will travel in 1 hour. So the speed of the long tail boat is 12 km per hour. That means it can travel 12 km in 1 hour. So to travel 1 kilometer, how much time it will take? 1/12 of an hour, because we have to divide by 12. Now to travel 60 km, it will take 60 divided by 12 is equals to 5 hours. You can do it directly, 60 divided by 12, but just to explain that it has to travel 1 kilometer in 1/12 of an hour, I had given this example. So you can directly just divide 60 kilometer divided by 12 kilometer is equals to 5 hours. So the long tail boat will take 5 hours to complete its 60 kilometer journey. So now you understood how to do this. Now children, after this class, you have understood how as human we need to find a solution for all these problems created by our greed. Because now you have seen that what is the difference in the numbers of kgs where the people are catching the fish, the ones which is not using the motor, the one which can travel deep into the sea and can catch lot of fish. So just think about it, and in the next class we will see how we can sell these fish in the market and what profit we can get in the market, and how does a fish market looks like. Thank you so much.